Brennan, and joining me tonight is Nicole.
Hi.
It's Nicole.
And Mama Kay.
It's Mama Kay. Hey, Hey, everybody.
Hey.
Who's Gary? I was about to say hi to Gary. Who's Gary?
I thought you said Garrett. I'm like,
someone got a
hi,
special
Gary.
shout out this time. Oh my gosh,
Hey,
wait.
Gary.
I'm gonna run for 1 second. My cat's eating the scraps out of a pan.
Oh, okay. And all right, fine. And tonight we're doing I Love My Dad. I Love My Dad. It came out a couple years ago. It was like a late COVID movie, and now it's streaming on Hulu, but it's been bouncing around the streaming services for a few years now. And usually we do newer movies, but you know, when they pop up new on streaming services and they pop up in the algorithm and they're popping up in like the top 10 or like in the For You, that means if they're popping up on ours, they're probably popping up on yours too. Someone else who watches the same stuff we do.
That's true.
That's kind of how I justify these things. Like, you do a couple year old movies and you're like, is anyone really watching these? And you're like, honestly, people probably didn't catch them on the first round out. They probably are catching them now that, you know, it's out on streaming and you're kind of, this is a perfect hour and a half, faces you know, easy to watch looking thing. And that's kind of why we picked it. I was intrigued by the premise. I had actually heard a review of this from a year or so ago, and the premise was intriguing. But I Love My Dad. Did you guys know anything about it going in?
Not a thing. Didn't come up on my you need to watch this. My For You anything. Yeah, no.
I don't think I noticed this anywhere.
I love my dad.
A desperate father poses as a woman online to reconnect with his estranged son, but things get complicated when the young man wants to meet her in person. Oh, maybe would she want to do that? It's got a 74% on Rotten Tomatoes with critics, 83 with the audience, 6.3 on IMDb, 59% Metacritic. So upper middle critical ratings kind of things. And if you haven't seen it, I think I said earlier, it is on Hulu. Stars of this is, recognizable faces. Patton Oswalt is the main guy, comedian, funny-looking guy. Yeah. Claudia Soweski is the main supporting female lead. She's like a influencer person. She's famous for being in a relationship with Billie Eilish's brother. And then you got other character actors in here like Lil Rel Howery, Rachel Dratch, Amy Landecker, and it's all written, directed, and starring James Morosini. James Morosini, who is writer, director, and star, and it's based on his own personal experiences with his father. And that's all you need to know going in.
It sounded like Mama Kay wasn't sure what you're talking about. Did you say something? Maybe you didn't watch this one? Does this sound foreign to you?
Did you watch the wrong movie?
No, I gave a shout out to Lil Rel.
I didn't hear you. I thought you said, huh? And I was like, oh shit, she watched the wrong thing.
I'm like, there's really not, like, if I say, like, the Patton Oswalt movie where he's in love with his son, I don't know.
I watched some other Patton Oswalt movie.
Well, then I literally said, "Oh, Lil Rel Howery said, I will watch this." I'm like, okay, well, you should pretty quickly figure out which movie it is. Okay, anyway,
my bad.
I did. I watched the correct movie, and my shout out to Lil Rel might have sounded like maybe I was sick or something. I'm not sure. Sorry, Lil Rel.
By Lil Rel.
Yeah.
Spoilers now. Franklin is our main character. He's going through some mental health issues, and he decides to block his father, Chuck, on social media for his mental health. And it's because Chuck, Patton Oswalt's character, is like a compulsive liar. He's kind of a terrible person. He's terrible.
He's a terrible person.
He's one of those guys who's just like has a regular office job. You wouldn't really notice him, but on the inside, he's manipulative, horrible liar. And what he does in the film is he catfishes his son. He pretends to be a woman online. He runs across a woman in a diner, thinks she's like attractive, takes a picture of her, makes a whole fake backstory, catfishes his son, try to get closer to him, blah, 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 false pretenses. It's just horrible behavior. And you gotta just watch this cringe comedy unfold, because that's really why I clicked this. I saw the premise. I had heard a review of it way back in the day. I'm like, ooh, Patton Oswalt catfishes his son, pretend to be a woman. Sounds like I'm on cringe. So That's what I came for, and let's see if it delivered. Mama Kay, what'd you think of I Love My Dad?
I am not I don't think I'm not a big Patton Oswalt fan. Like, I do not rush to his movies. I don't find a particular.
Do you have any swag? Patton swag?
I do. Patton with a heart in the middle, something like that. I heart my Patton. Yeah. So, okay. So Lil Rel did pull me in, right? I'm gonna be honest with you. He didn't have much to do in this movie, but what he did was, pretty much perfect. Yeah. Interesting premise. Terrible person. When I read that this is a real life story, or at least a retelling of something that happened in his life, even though the father apparently says that none of this is true. I thought,
oh, shocker.
Yeah, this is the worst parenting. I mean, there's bad parenting. There's worse than this, but this is pretty bad. And if this guy is like 1/10 of how he's portrayed in this movie in real life, it's still really bad. His son having the mental health issues that he does. I mean, he's coming out of therapy, where he's been living in a therapy situation for some time when this whole thing sort of goes down. And I mean, this guy's on the edge, and this is what you're doing. You're so selfish that you're putting his life in jeopardy, actually, to do this. Flip side of that, the son bugged me a lot because he had a wonky eye, and that was just so...
Oh, so he had it coming. That's fine, then.
He did have it coming, because it's obvious the wonky eye is why, he has all these problems.
Gotcha. God pushed the right person, so it's fine.
Yeah, gotcha. So he was a little hard to watch just because of the wonky eye. And I also hate the
premise...
Paul
Giamatti in The Holdovers. It's a prequel.
Yes! Oh my God. Yes, just like that. The thing that I really don't like, though, about this movie, first of all, it's not, I mean, it's fine. It's an hour and 30 minutes. It's fine to watch. It's, mildly entertaining in a cringe way. But what I really don't like about it is we are back to where, like, oh, my son, I'm going to pretend to be a girl. I'm not going to pretend to just be some girl, but I'm going to pretend to be the hot girl that works at the diner. Why? And then why does this guy think that she's really interested in him? Why would she be interested in him? You're breaking the whole believability aspect when you do something like that. So it started off rough for me because of that.
Interesting. All right, well, we'll see how it comes around. Nicole, what were your thoughts on I Love My Dad?
Well, I do agree with that last part, that this, is not believable, and I guess it did happen if this is based on his true story, but, that in current times, that doesn't happen anymore. I feel like people don't reach out to someone randomly and you see they have one follower and their account was made yesterday.
And also it's Facebook, so
yeah,
I mean, come on.
That's not happening anymore. So I guess I'm hoping this was a couple years ago.
I say maybe this is a 2014 kind of based. There's nothing to indicate that it's 10 years old or whatever. But you're right.
It feels
catfishing and scams are more sophisticated now. So this feels quaint, I suppose you could say, in its execution.
Yeah, I mean you gotta have some caution online, people. But. No, I agree. The dad is just a pretty despicable guy, and it's unfortunate that he's not seeing the destruction. He's just really being selfish and trying to make himself feel better, I guess, about the relationship with his son. But the movie itself, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a fresh take on the texting on screen back and forth situation that we see so often now. But having the catfish show up and then the dad show up and he might be in the background, he might flip to him, whatever. I really liked how they did that, and we were belly laughing a lot in this movie. There were so many parts that they did such a good job of making it so outlandish and hilarious, but yet so sad. All of the parts where we cut back to Patton Oswalt being the person in the scene.
Right.
That was just, yes. being the girl. Oh gosh, that was so funny. But
Yeah.
you know, there's a lot of just stuff happening in this, and it's all fine. The ending for me is probably my least favorite part of it. So we can talk about the ending later. But no, I was pretty satisfied with watching this. I thought it was funny and also very cringy. So everybody likes that.
I would say this delivered exactly what I was hoping for, plus maybe a little extra, because when we've watched a couple Hulu movies, especially you and I, Nicole, like that's kind of a lot of the ones you and I end up on, especially because you don't do the theater ones as much anymore, and we do things like fucking Robots, where it's like Shailene Woodley and that guy, and it just sucks, and those movies just suck, and they're just terrible, and I put on things like this, and I'm like, it's probably gonna be that, but maybe it won't be, like maybe it'll be as good as, I don't know, something like No One Will Save You, with that one with Caitlin Dever. Like, maybe it'll be kind of like that level. And this is kind of more like that level, where, like, the premise is really intriguing. The execution's a little sloppy, but, like, it's got really good talent. And I think really Patton and Claudia are, like, really good. Both of them playing Becca, in quotations. Like, I think, like, that actress in her scenes with him, like, because that's how they choose to do the texting it to make it believable, because otherwise you have to, it's harder to believe, because just like, oh, it's the one profile, it's looks fake, like who would fall for this? But if you insert the real like manic pixie dream girl and like show her in the movie and like have her be that cute flirtatious person there, and you kind of feel like you're going along with him, then it makes more sense and you kind of are like going along with it. And then when it juxtaposes that with Patton doing his gross mundane things, maybe he's avoiding Rachel Dratch, maybe he's just in his kitchen making a sandwich, but maybe he's scamming people playing chess online.
Yeah.
Whatever he's doing, he's being a scumbag, and it's cutting between this poor guy, this James Morrissey, and he's just really trying to get his life together, and this manic pixie dream girl shows up, and it's kind of a sweet, convincing dramedy, and then it's juxtaposed with Patton Oswalt being gross, and for some reason that combo worked for me. Like that combo of, I think either thing alone would have not worked. I think the first alone would have been schmaltzy and bad and not like, and just not something I would have been like seriously interested in, and the second would have been something like the Rob Corddry movies that we watch on Hulu, where it would have just been like stupid jokes, no threads. This walks the line, and it kind of executes pretty well, especially for a first-time director making a kind of a vanity project. Like it, I don't know. I laughed a lot. I'm with Nicole on this one, but okay. I want to know then if that's how we're lining up. you had some hesitations on this gentleman's I don't know, believability, something.
No, I don't know if that it was believability. I mean, the story has to. He's going to tell whatever story he's going to want to tell. He's really in charge of this. He's writing it, he's directing it, he's starring in it, right? So everything can be whatever he wants. I agree with both of you that the execution, especially of, oh my God, what was her name? Not Emma. What's her name?
Becca.
Yeah, it's great, because in the beginning she's there, as with Patton Oswalt's words. And so in the beginning, it's a lot more, it has a real masculine feel to it, even though she's saying, she's saying the things that a guy would say more so than what a girl would say. And it sort of morphs into, as Patton Oswalt gets better at texting and then sexting, it's like, the flow is better, and the girl plays it perfectly. Like she plays it from. She's so good. She has to be perfect, and she plays two roles too. She has to later on in the third act. She has to be the real person. So she has to That's where I'm like, I'm surprised this girl is just not like she's famous for other things, but like not an actress. I'm like. I was saying it before. She's she's like an influencer.
I feel like I've seen her before, just like out in the wild somewhere.
In the wild,
I believe I think she's a YouTuber, and then she is in a relationship with Billie Eilish's brother. So like,
he has a name,
What's his name?
Phineas.
Unferb?
Okay. Just Phineas.
Whatever. Do people know that?
Yes.
Yes.
Do more people know Phineas, or do more people know Billie Eilish's brother?
Well, no, they know him as Phineas. And then I heard a thing where, didn't he just get a Grammy or something? And they're like, it's Billie Eilish's brother. Like,
I mean, he writes the shit with her. He performs it with her. He's a guy.
No, okay, all right. I didn't know he was famous beyond Circles. I knew his name. I was just I was using it soft because I thought that was.
I had no idea there was this relationship. The thing about this movie is that it is a breath of fresh air, and I think Nicole said something like that you just don't, you're not, or maybe Brennan, you're not seeing the same old stuff over and over, and when you're seeing it done, it's, even though the storyline for me seems a little janky and maybe not quite super believable, it's, I hate to say this, it's charming that it's portrayed the way that it is.
You're invested. Like, you want things to happen. Like, you, even if you don't think Franklin's like a perfect character, like, you are watching and you cannot help when you're watching, like, when Chuck's doing his schemes, you're like, oh, please don't, like, come on, please don't. Oh, no,
yeah,
please
didn't you wait
stop.
for the downfall,
You
though? Weren't you, like, Nicole, weren't you just, like, sitting there going, oh my God, when this blows up, it's going to be epic. Like,
yeah, there were so many times I thought it was going to happen too. Like I really thought it was going to happen when they were at the karaoke bar.
Right.
I thought he was going to leave his phone on the table or something and text her.
Oh yeah. Yep.
But they didn't do that, so that was like a welcome surprise because I just expected it would be easy like that. But no, we went right to in person and made it really horrible.
Yeah, and that whole part where they're coming up to Maine, and I'm like, what is this guy thinking? What is the Patton Oswalt character? What is Chuck thinking? Like, how does he at all think this is going to work out in anyone's favor? How's that
crazy?
Yeah,
that's the thing. It's you just have to, we have to see that, like, he's just not a rational. When I'm watching this, I'm kind of afraid of Patton. Like, he's scary to me, like, because he's not you can't reason with that. It's people you can't reason with like that, and you can't predict them like that. Like, that's just scary. Like, that's like a sick dog kind of thing. That freaks me out. Like, and it freaks me out more that, like, Lil Rel's in this, and he has to be like the friend, like, normal guy, like, normal comedy guy.
Yeah.
But clearly Patton's all fucked up. Like, he's a horrible monster man, and, like, Lil Rel tries to, like, say that, like, dude, you can't do this. Like, this is not normal behavior. But, like,
talk about
the movie doesn't ever. It doesn't ever quite go far enough where, like, it gets to the cringe comedy. Like, it works where, like, Laurel's he's like, no, man, I can't. You got to stop sexting your son here. There's a lot of sexting your son kind of stuff going on. Yeah. Rachel Dratch has some good scenes, but, like, it never gets to the, like, I do a little bit want it to be a little bit more like the Patton's, like, horribly, like, this is like, he's like an insidiously horrible evil, even at the end, like, when he still seems kind of clownish. I don't think the movie quite.
You didn't see any of the compassion from him when he had to jump in to the pool.
No, that was just so that he could keep. That's just all for him. That's all for him. He doesn't care. Like, he needs his source of life to keep going. He's saving his. It's like when you drop your iPhone in the pool for, like, that's what he is. He's a creature.
I don't know. I agree with Nicole on that. I think that he does have a slice of parenting in him somewhere. A slice of.
Oh, I don't think so.
He wrote in the letter to get into the coding school.
Yeah.
Is that supposed to be, like, the showing that, like, maybe that's the son's gesture to just be like, yeah, sure, you have a shred of humanity? Because I guess I'm reading it from the perspective, like, this guy is like he's a creature. He's not human. Like, he's not, like, his motivations are not actually to have a loving relationship with his son. He's pure, like, creature. Like, he wants to suck his son's life out of him, basically, and be horrible.
I mean, that's what I read. He also says a lot when he's texting as Becca that, I know it's really all selfish and self-centered, what he says, but
because he's a child.
But still, him trying to explain himself by not being able to say it in person, has to say it through this third party, saying, like, your dad's trying his best, he's trying his hardest, and I'm sure he made mistakes, but everybody does, and you should try to talk to him again, blah blah blah, like, trying to open his eyes, I guess, that he's trying to change, hopefully, but he can't just come out and say it to him, because the son also is a problem. He doesn't fucking listen ever. He just shuts down and doesn't give him the opportunity to talk.
He doesn't deserve the opportunity. Patton Oswalt does not deserve to be in the son's life.
Oh, like, really? The son calls him out of nowhere after multiple attempts, and he drops everything to come pick him up?
Well, yeah, because he wasn't, because... Yeah, you want to connect with him? Like...
No, you know him, right?
It's because he's already connecting, though, with him. There is a bit of a problem in this movie where in the beginning, Patton Oswalt's character, Chuck, is very self-centered, and I don't see where the change happens where he actually wants to be in his life, because we spend the first 5, 10, 15 minutes of all the calls where he's like, I can't come to your basketball game, I can't come to your birthday party, I can't do that. What changes? It changes that he's been cut off, and so that's a very childish reaction to being cut off. Is like, oh yeah, well, I'm going to stick myself in your life and you're going to like it, and this is how I'm going to do it. But I feel like that's just childish of him. I don't know that it's specifically malicious. I just think he's a child.
Yeah, I agree with that.
He's too destructive.
I don't think he's a monster till the very end. I'll tell you why.
I'm Mace Windu with the lightsaber on Chancellor Palpatine. He's too dangerous to be kept alive. Like, you cannot have these people running around society poisoning the world. Like, this is just like Patton. I don't know. I the type of person this is, I'm just like, that's like an incurable, like, juice isn't worth the squeeze kind of person. Like, that's like the insidious, like, guy in your cubicle that you would never know. And that's what I got in the Lil Rel Howery, and like the ex-wife, like, still, like, obviously knows he's a piece of shit, but like,
yeah,
they have to know that this guy exists in the world and like deal with them. And though the ending's a little like, I like the climax, but the actual ending, like the Deus Ex Machina, or not Deus Ex Machina, the denouement, the little add-on at the end, like, it's nice that at least the bad guy gets a little bit, but it's not enough, and there's not really a way to satisfyingly end this, I don't think, because the bad guy did horrible things, and there's no really happy ending to that.
Well, you can't change those things by taking on the girl persona and just saying, your dad's really trying. Well, what is he really doing to try? Like, what are we talking about here? Now all of a sudden,
I would say, what is the end state of his trying? Like, we hang out and do what? What do you want to do? Like, what are we talking about when we're hanging? Like, what is this experience we're sharing together? What are you doing with me? Nothing. You're not helping. Like, Patton Oswalt has no. We've seen the flashbacks. He's like, what does he have to offer? He's a cheat. He's a loser cheat. He doesn't have anything to offer. He doesn't have insider knowledge or fun to share. He doesn't deserve companionship. He should be alone.
I don't know.
You guys didn't read this? Now. I'm surprised how violently I reacted to Patton versus how you guys are like, oh, he's like a complicated, like, sad man.
I don't think he's a complicated person at all. I think he's a 6-year-old. So
but a 6-year-old can't be a 60-year-old, because
they can't be. But that's the explanation. I don't think he's he's not John Wayne Gacy. He's not a serial killer. He's. I mean, when I think about him, sometimes I do think about John Wayne Gacy. I don't know why I make that connection.
Just the actor or this character?
The actor.
Oh my gosh!
Part of. I know. I don't know what it is, and that's part of why I guess I don't really care for him.
I don't know what that is.
Sorry, I make weird connections. That's just how it is. We got to live with that. But, so when we're talking about the end, we're not talking about the end, because the climax is where they actually
the diner.
The diner, and
which I think is a great scene. I think the actual climax is really good, and it's the cringiest. Like,
oh my god,
I think that's when James Morosini, like, he has to, try to step up to real actors here, and I think in that scene he's really good. And then the other girl, the girl who plays Becca, she, like, has to be a different character, totally works. That other guy, like, everybody plays their part so well in this scene. I love the diner scene.
But she's still enough of Becca to, like, be recognizable. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like,
yeah.
Yeah. So way. it's a good piece. I don't know if I give the other guy as much credit. He seemed a little
stupid.
I don't know. He's also childish. I mean, he's really sort of a chip off the old block.
Who the
son,
the Franklin character?
Franklin, yeah.
Oh, Franklin.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wish he wasn't leaning in so hard there.
Yeah.
Again, I'm putting it in my head that he really believes this. There's not even a shred of doubt that he believes that this isn't her.
Maybe he's being hyperbolic about how he was, Like, woe is me, look at how shitty my father is. And maybe...
Oh, you mean like the real life versus what he put on screen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean it's a goofy story. Like, it's definitely something interesting worth telling in a film, but maybe it was just like he did it for 2 days and came clean. We won't know.
Well, yeah,
right.
I don't think it probably climaxed at a diner like this, but I'm sure there's enough truth. Like, I'm sure it wasn't like it wasn't like I think there's enough truth for it was like a real thing. But
how can you be so sure?
I suppose I cannot be sure, but in general, like, I don't see her like. Why would I believe this man versus James? Like, why would I believe the father of the son in this case? What does like what?
Well, when's his movie coming out?
Oh,
what would the father's movie be? Oh, look, I'm alone and my son ignores me. Like, fuck you. He should ignore you. You're a piece of shit. You're not entitled to your children's love. Stop it, Patton. Calm down.
Wow.
You're not. You got to earn it.
Okay.
I don't know that I'm going to watch that.
You don't just get it. You don't just get it because you kept him alive for 20 years. You got to earn it.
Well, yeah, and it's debatable whether he kept him alive or whether it was the mom or I don't know.
The group home.
The group home.
I'll say this guy is not doing well when we meet him. It's not like he's thriving. So like it's it's understandable.
Well, yeah, and I was very confused for over half the movie about how old this dude was. Like, is he in high school or is he?
I figured he was like mid to late 20s. I figured he was like 28 or something, 27.
I was really confused about why somebody doesn't drive, and especially they're in a rural town. It's not like they live in the middle of the city where you don't have to learn how to drive.
Did they say where they live?
It was somewhere in New York.
Oh, okay.
I would say that it's like mid-Atlantic or Northeast because they go to Maine at the end, but.
And that's the thing, too, is they go to Maine, they leave during the day, and then they have to stay overnight somewhere to get to Maine. They're the world's slowest drivers because it's a 5-hour drive on a bad day.
Well, I remember that one guy doesn't drive, so
Yeah, but Patton Oswalt was driving most of the time. Then the other guy was driving.
He's not exactly in a rush to get there either.
That's true. Let's stay at some really weird motel so some really weird stuff can happen at the motel.
I know we would go back and forth on motivations, but like I did want to point out that scene, the motel one where he does the sexting and Patton remembers his evil training of playing the computer against the other people to cheat, and then he plays the Rachel Dratch sexting against. I'm just like, I think that's one of those scenes where I'm like, oh, this guy's got more in the tank. It's one of those like, oh, there's like, this isn't a throwaway Hulu movie. Like this had thought, this is structured, and the way it's shot and structured, like put together too. Like you have 4 actors doing fun things like that all work together, and like that's work to put that together in a satisfying way, and you can see it coming together. Like this movie has a couple of those little bits where like you look for those things in your 90-minute Hulu movies because they can be crap sometimes. They can be Rob Corddry movies.
They always happen though too when it's like they're doing things in a fast way. Do you know what I mean? Like especially
what do you mean a fast way.
Well, in the the things that sort of keep you going in the movie are things that happen, like the scene in the motel when the texting is happening, and it's all going so fast because it's the texting between the son and Chuck and Rachel Dratch, and it's like it all goes, and that's if there weren't those, there's a couple of those scenes in there, and if there weren't those kind of scenes, I think it would be like those kind of keep you when you're kind of getting bored of the movie or a little bit down. It's like, okay, now I'm back because that's interesting and I need to pay attention because something's going to happen.
It's an understanding of editing too, because when you can only really be slow when you're doing like epic big things. Like when you're doing modern movies, if you're doing some small scale stories like this, you want to get to the point. Like you want to move fast, and I think young like filmmakers get that. Like we just did Bottoms. How fast is Bottoms? Bottoms moves like fucking like lightning.
This
like,
is not that.
No, it's not nearly. This is not nearly the same level. This is much more like TV movie level. Good TV movie though. Bottoms is like art, but like this is like solid, like above average TV movie. Yeah. Like it's it delivers, but it's not. But it has the bursts. It has bursts of like, oh, like that's structure. That's something I haven't quite seen put together like that. And this has enough of that in it.
Well, it has that catfish. It has a second catfishing thing that happens toward the end. And what do you think about that?
The second catfishing? Oh, you mean like the
So the
last
son
10
is
minutes,
just like the
basically.
dad, we find out, because the son catfishes also.
Well, to get back at him at the end, yeah.
Yeah,
When
is it
he
to get back
at him, he
I-
moved him closer.
Yeah, he moved him
Yeah,
across the street.
to get, but not because he wanted to get back at catfishing him because the dad, like, all right, the dad's fucked with him this whole time, and like, oh, maybe the ex-wife wants to get back together. Patton opens the letter. Oh, maybe come by. Maybe I have something in my life because Patton just fucked up his whole life and he has nothing. Maybe I can move back in. And then gets there. Oh, the wife doesn't actually want to be there, but the letter you sent, I didn't send a letter. And then the son's in the window, like, haha, I sent the letter. That's what you're supposed to get out of that. It's not like he's like,
No,
oh,
I
want
didn't
you
get
back.
that at all. It wasn't for a malicious get back. It was because he wanted to forgive him. That's what I got from it.
No,
Oh,
it's a
wow,
malicious
I'm
get
living
back.
in a-
It's 100 a malicious get back, and I will send notes to the writer director. Hopefully, he'll come
die
back
on
to me
that
because
hill.
there's absolutely no way he's forgiving him at the end of this movie.
That's why I said I didn't like the ending.
Yeah.
He's not forgiving him. He's bringing him
also-
back like, I got my eye on you. What do you got, Mama K? Sorry. What?
Also, I have maybe a similar but a totally different take on this, is that he's put his mom, who's the only person that has cared for him, in this horrible situation where she now has to live across the street from her ex-husband that she hates, right? And then they pan up to the window where the boy is standing, or the guy is standing there, and that's when he turns into a fucking serial killer. He looks like he's going to murder everyone. I hate the look on his face. He looks so evil. And throughout the whole movie, he's never looked like that. And then I'm like, all of a sudden, did this just turn into Stephen King? Like, what happened here? I don't understand.
I like at the end that he gets his retro. I mean, it's not perfect because I don't know how to end this movie. It's an okay ending, but like I don't have a better ending in my head. And I'm curious, how would you guys like to see this end? Because I agree it's not like my favorite ending, but I struggle with something better.
Well, I don't know why you can't see that what I'm saying may be true. I mean, the way that it's set up.
There's no way.
Well, can you let me finish my thought? Because
Please.
He's at school, and the teacher reminds him that his friend wrote him this stellar recommendation letter. Is that the dad's truce to try to get back together for the final time? Like, I'm so sorry this happened. You know, I was looking out for you this whole time, and you know, now that he's an adult, he seems to be doing better as far as we can tell. Trying to give it a shot. And letting him come getting closer.
I do think
that's the ending.
Well, I do think.
I mean, not horrible. Like it would be an okay like writing sense, but like horrible as like I feel bad for the character. Then I don't like. I don't want that to be the character's fate.
I do think that Chuck got him. I think it's a job that he got him, not schooling, but whatever it is that he's doing.
Oh yeah. You're right. The apprenticeship or whatever it was.
Yeah, I think that is something that Chuck did freely and wanted, and because he did it through the guise of the girl Becca, Emma, for some reason, that he was doing it because he wanted to help his son. I mean, there's got to be a little bit of parent in everybody that's like, you don't want your kid to kill themselves, because he's clearly tried that before. So, I mean, this is not just we're not talking about a regular 20-year-old or, you know, somebody who's got it all together. He clearly doesn't. So I think Nicole,
I'm so cynical about Patton. I'm so cynical about Patton that when I literally think like when he saw his son drowning, it's like when you drop your iPhone in the toilet. You're like, oh no, that would be such a pain in the ass to replace.
No.
Like, oh no, like I need to save this so I can keep having it for my own selfish needs. Like I really like, I don't know.
Are you okay? Because you're probably the only person who watched this movie that thought that.
You really don't think that's how Patton felt?
Not even close.
No.
Oh, I guess that's what I feel like when parents do that to their kids. I feel like in their core, like they have to know they're doing that. They can't be that stupid that they're just hurting people so stupidly.
But
to be that stupid is just like,
yeah. But he's a person. He's too narcissistic to know. But he also knows that.
I know
your parenting gene kicks in, and that's what happened with the pool scene, and that's what happened when he decided to try to help him get a job someplace. And it doesn't make him any less an asshole, but he's...
No, that makes it worse. He can blend into society even easier. No wonder.
No,
I just don't think that there's that many people he wants to take advantage of. He's too lazy for that. He's way too lazy for that.
And he's not, like, trying to reel in the son for financial assistance or, like, need anything from him. It's not
God,
like...
I feel sorry for the mom.
Trying to pull him in for that reason. So I don't know why you're getting all crazy about it.
I don't know. I guess if he were polite, he would just never talk to anyone again and die quietly. But that would be the polite thing for Patton to do. But, you know, whatever. That's if he wants to...
Then he wouldn't catfish his son. We would not have a movie.
That's true. He just had to be involved because no one cared about him.
It's good actor choice, though, I think. I think in this whole thing...
perfect.
Casting.
Yeah, everybody all around. I'm surprised you got such good names in this. Like, you know, these are, you know, like various levels of like TV actors. So solid.
But this won a bunch of like I can't think of what the festivals were, but a bunch of festival awards. This was
South by Southwest. I think this won something at it. Audience, jury
something
audience.
Toronto
awards,
maybe or something like that. There was some Canadian something or another. We know those guys.
It made the rounds, and it came out 2 years ago. I think it got buried a little because COVID timing and streaming and weirdness, but now it's available on Hulu. Oswalt. You can see it. He's got Patton Oswalt. By all accounts, a good guy. I've never heard anything bad about him personally. But anything else on I Love My Dad?
I'm waiting for the sequel where I killed my dad.
You could really go a lot of ways with the tone afterwards. Like you could, you know, everyone survives. You could have Becca come back with something. Far. You never, you know, we could do. Lorel can be something. I don't know. Do we recommend I Love My Dad? Nicole, start with you.
Yes, I do. I thought it was very funny and very well written, and it was fresh. I liked it.
Oh, look at that. Nicole, you just went. Mama Kay?
I'm going to also recommend it for the freshness.
Yeah, I recommend it too. I wanted cringe comedy, and I got my cringe comedy. It boiled my blood, but I was asking for it. I literally I told Nicole, like, I want some blood boiled, and I got it, and I also got some belly laughs too. So that's, you really can't ask for more than that from a cringe comedy. So 3 recommends for I Love My Dad. Good work, Patton. Good work, good work,
guy.
James. Directorial debut. Good work, Claudia. Do more acting work. I thought you were great in this. So well done, everybody. Hulu, good job. You finally got a good movie in your streaming circuit, because god damn, you guys, you're almost Prime bad. Like Amazon Prime, I swear, buys like I watch Prime. I'll turn on like the shortest documentaries I can find just to watch the worst things ever. Just oh my god, and you're like,
why?
I just want to see. I want to see. And also, it gives me hope. I'm like, well, if this can get up there, I could probably send a couple.
Nothing will ever be worse than the Amazon Prime documentary about the Jewish hotel in upstate New York.
Oh my god, the one about the Catskills? Yeah. Oh god.
The Jewish hotel?
Yeah, it was
like a day camp, like a summer camp hotel situation.
Oh, you mean like Dirty Dancing?
It was about... No, but it was a documentary. It was called like, what was it called? It was like Bringing Up the Catskills or something. It was like, and it was basically a talking head documentary where someone went to this dilapidated resort in the Catskills that was like 40 years ago. It was cool, and all the interviewees are like, no one talks about it anymore. It was the coolest place in the day. There's like 70-year-olds like, the kids don't come down to the Catskills anymore. What's wrong with them? And it's all grainy footage. And like, what is this? Why did anyone pay for this? Why is it on a streaming service? Why is this here?
Why did somebody write it?
I mean,
yeah.
Okay. So, but you got to watch this. You have to watch. Like you never know when you're gonna find something like I Love My Dad. You know. Right. Or sometimes you get Catskills documentary. So, Films with the Women in My Life on Facebook if you want to recommend things to us, or you can reach out to me on Instagram. I'm Brennan_podhost. You can also email the show, questions, suggestions, any of that. filmswiththewomen@gmail.com. I think that's it. I think that's all the housekeeping. Thank you guys for being on for I Love My Dad.
All right. I love my dad too.
I love my dad too. He's not like this. No, I don't know anyone like Patton Oswalt, thankfully. So it's
thanks for clarifying.
Or if I do, I'm like Laurel. I don't know. They're like this. They're like my coworker, and I don't know they're this evil.
You don't want to know.
But I would like to not know.
Yeah.
So next time, this is Brennan signing off, saying thanks for listening and enjoy your movies.
Thanks for listening to Films with the Women in My Life. If you enjoyed being a listener in our life, please rate and subscribe on Apple Podcasts or on your favorite podcast app. Keep up with the latest from the show on Instagram at Brennan_podhost, on Facebook at Films with the Women in My Life, and on Twitter at FilmsWomenPod. Finally, you can email the show with questions and suggestions at filmswiththewomen@gmail.com. Original music for the show was created by Ian Burke and Chris Iwanek. Original artwork created by Nicole D'Alessio. This show is produced by Brennan Snyder. Thank you again for listening and enjoy your movies.